Genuinely have nothing to say. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and yap and complain and say things like, "Oh, this happened, that happened." You know, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. Um, I don't know what to say. I can't even be bothered to say like, "Oh, today I have to do this and this and this." I can't be bothered. I'm so tired. I tell you what happened though. Last night, I dried my sheets over this electric heater, and I thought it was genius. Honestly, I was like, okay, I'm feeling dirty. I need to clean my room. So I'm cleaning my room and I hang them sheets out, and I go take a shit. Not even a minute in the video yet. Um, I go take a shit, and I come back, and the heater just won't turn back on. And I'm freaking out. I'm punching it like genuinely. I don't want to be too loud because it's like two, like not two. It was like 1 o'clock, and like I knew it would be dry at like 2 if I kept it on with the heater, or like half 1. I was like, okay, 2 o'clock, bed, fine, cool. And it just won't go back on. So I'm sitting there at like half 1, just thinking, grand, absolutely grand. Um, Not gonna be able to go to sleep. And then I remembered. Then I remembered. I have a sleeping bag and a mat, cause camp. And at that point I was crashing out, really. At that point I was crashing out, like, I just want to go to fucking bed. And then I think I might have had the most comfortable sleep in my entire life. Might have had the most comfortable sleep in my entire life. But this is something I want to say because it's annoying. I go to bed with this like peaceful mindset of, okay, maybe tomorrow all will be well. We can just wake up and continue. And then I wake up with this stinking attitude. I'm just tired. I better keep my eyes open. Mind you, I think I've been in bed for like 9 hours. And I just stinker of an attitude. I don't really care about much. Uh, it's so dumb that you wake up and all of a sudden everything from last night just disappears. It's such a BS, man. It's such BS. I just want to be able to go to bed and wake up with the same thought process I had lying down. I didn't move. I didn't move. I didn't change. I didn't go through a whole life experience. Maybe I had a dream. I forgot it. But yeah, it's annoying. Man, I still got time. I got like, oh shit, I don't have a lot of time. Yeah, it's my fault for being retarded. It really is. Um, I like 5 hours maybe, 4.5. Can I just shut up about the time? Like shut up about the time. Today the plan is to go to the library before class and try to read these. You know, how is that a bad thing? Like the perspective I had of like, okay, for the next 2 weeks until the 21st, technically the 22nd, by the way, but and I'm hoping to get done before that next week. So like a week and a half, I'll just read. I'll just read those and I'll read whatever's over there. Good. But I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really feel like much. Don't really feel like I'm working. Don't really feel like I'm writing either. Yesterday I had a first sort of draft or idea, that I'd done in a while, because this lit review was just kicking my ass. And I had this whole thing with the characters, and I was like, obviously it's going to be a little bit boring to people who are way better writers than me, but I thought, well, in my story right now, the current ending, the ending I want to portray is, I thought about like each chapter being the same thing. It would all end with like, we're all gonna die, you know, and then just the end be this woman come on to the guy overdosed who had said we're all gonna die, you know. So the whole point of it being, you know, he's critically aware of where the drug addiction will lead, but he can't get out of it, you know. I think like most people, and this woman who I'd say is sort of the reason to why he's stayed, because she's, you know, she's vulnerable. Maybe I might put in that she's pregnant. I don't know. I'll write that down just to and then I was sitting, I was realizing, and the writer we had brought had an exercise which said why, you know, it was a basic needs and wants type of thing. Why does your character, or what's the thing that sparked your character from trying to change? And I was like, oh, what if he does the same thing as the character in the end? What if he comes across somebody who's overdosed and wants to change? And then in my head I thought, whoa, deep. I thought, whoa. In this, you're able to write a cycle. You know, really write a cycle of the start. A man comes across somebody who's just overdosed, a friend of his, close friend, and he tries to change, but he can't because that life has a lot of things that drag you in. You know, I know by experience, you know, a lot of loyalty issues and prideful issues of, like, you know, people don't see that world as negative. The people in it, you know, they don't see that world as negative. They just see it as, oh, my friends do this, my friends do that. These are just my mates. And then my brother, I know when he got back on, he had been fine for a while. He got back on it. It was simply just because he went to go have a drink with a friend at a bar or pub even, you know, a really low key, simple sort of get together, and the man whipped out a couple lines of coke, and I was like, what the fuck? Why are you taking coke? What the fuck is, you want for a pint? You know? And he was like, oh, you know, but you just don't quite see. You don't quite see that it is the people themselves, and it's quite a harsh thing. It's quite a harsh thing, which is maybe the thing I want to do in the story, because, you know, he leaves. To have him leave and to not be around these people, then to drag him back in with that one person, I think, the pregnant girl, you know, having that vulnerability, having that you know, he wants to help her, you know, but I think I want to make it very realistic, yeah. Real. People don't just leave, you know. People don't just find a way out. They get dragged back in. And, you know, him being dragged back in, you know, showing he can't really escape. And then her walking on him in maybe a similar spot. OD'd. Something insane, something special. But I thought I'd maybe go by some basic plot beats. try to write a good short story. Start the story, you come across a guy who's overdosed, and a guy that's seen him, and he's freaking out, you know, emotionally. I have to leave, I have to leave. And then he leaves after a big sort of like push and pull between him and his friends. And then they come over to his wherever I think he go back home to his mom's. They go over to his mom and say so and so has tried to rape, you know, this girl. She's vulnerable, and I think it's a case of I don't know how the Americans are. It's probably the same, but you know, in Newcastle, it's basically just the druggies you're around. They're not your fucking friends. You know, like they're not your friends. I know the people my brother's been around, and I can never really say to them people like that they're friends. They're always trying to find the next fix, and it's just whatever group they gravitate towards. And you know, I'd say that's the point of there's people in this house. There's people who frequent this crack house. You know that um, they're not friends with anyone. They just all do the same drugs. And there's one guy who's maybe a little bit freaky deaky, tries to get with this girl, but she always says no. You know, he's had enough. Tries to do it. Guy comes back. A big fight. And I think for that reason he has to stay, right? Like in a, not even in a story, but as a man, you know, you got a vulnerable woman there. You're like, oh, I gotta stay. But him choosing to stay is closer to the drugs, and there'll be something in that second act that I need to work out, which eventually then will lead on to the third act. With the, you know, I just want to do like 3 parts, like a Chekhov or something, and yeah, leading on that third part where he takes ODs. This woman comes over and you know, maybe in the same house. You know, I'd like to symbolize the world maybe through the house. And he dies. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's something just so simple in that. Something so simple in that. But I'm not able to write that for a while. I need to get all this reading out of the way, and that's why I need this week of reading. Or even more. Maybe 2 weeks. But I have the ideas. And I'm realising now I've got a little bit more time than I thought I did. So that's a good thing. Just gotta take it slow and take it chill. I'm really tired. But I think in a way when I'm tired, it's not about like fighting the tiredness of like yeah, but you know, embrace it. Okay, I'm really tired today. How do I find a way around that? Take it slow. I'll try to take it slow. By the time I come home, be 10 o'clock. And do a couple of things and go to bed. One step at a time though, right? One step at a time. What a mess of a video, I can't lie to you. What a mess. I'm really tired. What a waste of 14 minutes. Read, you know. There you go. Read. And also just write. And please, for the love of God, write shit. Just write shit, you know, write bad things. I mean, things aren't ever going to be good in the first place. And it's not about other people's opinions. Just write. You know, people are always like, that's too much like so-and-so. You know, that's too much like this, that's too much like that. Or, you know, it's like, are you kidding me? If someone's like, oh yeah, this is like Stephen King or something, right? Wouldn't you as like a horror writer be like, wow, That's a compliment, you know. So never be worried to like be compared to somebody. Somebody compared me to Steinbeck, I'd be like, what the fuck? We made it, you know. But if someone says like, oh well, I don't know, I think you're just trying to copy Steinbeck, then I'd be like, well, yeah. Um, but it's too complex to be weighed down by just a couple of people's opinions, really. Um, just write. There really isn't a bad, you know, you know. At least not at the level I'm at in uni. I've never really seen somebody try and drastically fail. They've never done something which I've looked at and I've been like, wow, you worthless writer, you know. Like, just maybe some of it's my taste, some of it's not. But you can see, you know, at least at this level, you can just see. Oh yeah, these guys know how to do writing, you know. Like if they set their heart to a story, they would be able to do it. So I think like, don't even worry, especially younger writers, man. You have so much time. You have so much time. It's crazy. And you gotta write shit things to eventually write a good thing. Anyways, bye. Wait, before I say bye, not actually writing really does affect my life, and I've realised that more than most the past week. If I don't write, oh, fucking painful. If I do write, the struggle, beautiful. If I don't, the lack of struggle invites in so much BS. So much BS. Of like, it really makes me a different person. Hateful, spiteful, angry, aggressive, just unkind, don't care. So I think do things that you love. Do things that you love, because I've had this. Not it's not been taken away, but I found myself in a predicament recently where I haven't been able to write, and that has really messed with my head. Right. Or do that thing that makes your head a bit screwed on. Because we kind of have our heads flying off, can we? Now this is bye.